Hey everybody, it's Lon.TV, and I don't normally do unboxings on the channel, but today we're doing a reboxing of the Microsoft Surface Book because I am sending this back to Microsoft and getting a refund on it. And I wanted to tell you a little bit about my experience with this and their customer support department, both good and bad, because I think it's instructive to see how companies deal with customers when there are problems, and I certainly had a few with it. So, the too long didn't read on this is that this is a $1,800 computer as configured. It doesn't perform as well as one should at this price point, but you're paying a bit for the industrial design essentially, and they did a very nice job with that design. The computer is very nice to use, very comfortable. I wish the screen folded back a little bit further, but they really nicely executed the hardware layout here. The trackpad is the best Windows trackpad you'll find. Really nice hardware design overall. However, the system doesn't work very well, and that was part of my issue with it. This is kind of the longer-term experience with it. So it worked fine for the first 2 or 3 weeks, but Microsoft continually pushed down updates to this thing to the point where it just stopped working the way it should. And one of the problems I had with it initially is that about a week or two after I finished the review, it started switching back and forth into tablet mode even when it was docked to the keyboard. And I'd like to have it do that auto switch when you detach the screen, because I do like to get the tablet functionality when I don't have a keyboard and mouse attached. And then when I put it back in, it goes back into that desktop or laptop mode, and that's worked very well for me on other computers. On this one, it just kept switching back and forth all the time. It was driving me crazy, and to the point where I really wasn't using this all that much because I kept running into these issues with it, and I always have another loaner in from some other company to get what I needed to get done on Windows. So I did finally reach out to Microsoft support. They, of course, had me wipe the whole thing out and reinstall Windows essentially to see if that corrected the problem, and it didn't. And then along the way, I also had the issue a lot of other folks were having called the hot bag syndrome, where even when the computer was on standby, it would start doing something in the background, running the fan really hot, and a lot of folks were putting this in their bag only to take it out and get a steaming hot computer and a dead battery that they had to then recharge. And I had this happen to me just while it was sitting on my desk back there. The thing was going one afternoon. I was like, what is going on here? I had the thing off essentially, and apparently it turned itself on to do an update or something, and then it just ran into this hot bag syndrome as well. So, it's not what an $1,800 or $2,000 computer should be. And I was really starting to see other computers that were performing better for a third of the cost, like that big Dell we looked at. So there certainly wasn't a performance reason for this. And then the fact that it really wasn't working all that great led me to really want to get this problem resolved, so maybe just sell it or get rid of it or whatever. So I sent it off to Microsoft Repair after this reboot thing didn't fix it, and they sent it back to me. Unfortunately, it came back with nothing fixed, and they created a problem too because they put a dent on the side of it. So you see on the side of my Surface Book here, I'll get in a little bit closer on my other camera. So they basically put a dent into the side of the computer when I got it back. It didn't look like this when I got it, but you can see now it's supposed to sit flat here, and something impacted this thing when it was in their repair shop or somewhere in between, and I needed to get that rectified because I had sent it in pristine condition. It really literally just sat behind me here for a long time because I wasn't even using it because of all the issues I was having with it, and it came back dented. So I said, all right, well, I'll call back Microsoft support and see what I can do with it. So I think I started with the chat thing, and they said they were having a trouble getting my information pulled up, so just take it back to the store that I bought it from. Of course, I couldn't do that because I bought it from their store directly. So then I decided, all right, let's fill out another RMA. And I went into their RMA system, and it said I already had an active service request on this device, and then it had reset my warranty to like 1900 or something, so I couldn't get anywhere there. So I figured I would pick up the phone and call support, and after an hour on the phone, the woman says to me, well, you know what, as bad as this problem is, and they have like this overseas outsourced tech support, of course, she says to me that they can't access my account at all. She says, I don't know why I can't access it, but I can't get access to your account. And there's nothing I can really do for you, so just go to the website and fill out the RMA thing. And I said, I just did that. I'm trying to do this, and it won't let me do that. Can you at least help me get that part working? And then she hung up on me. She actually literally just took the phone and hung up on me, and I was just flabbergasted. So I called back, and I talked to somebody else who basically said the same thing to me, which is they can't access my account, bring it back to the store you bought it from. And I was caught in this loop, and I was so frustrated. I threw the phone down, and I said, what the heck can I do? I mean, I'm stuck with this $1,800 thing that's now damaged that I had no responsibility in damaging, and no one seems to be interested in fixing the problem. So I did what any modern consumer does. I went on Twitter and had a temper tantrum, and apparently that got the attention of a few folks in Microsoft because I got a bunch of different emails coming at me from a whole bunch of different different departments there, not all of them being very helpful. One, of course, being the Surface support team who said, just bring it back to the store you bought it from, which is exactly the problem that the person on the phone said. But a couple of days go by, and then I got a cryptic email from someone from the Xbox Live support team, which was weird, saying that they noticed I was having trouble getting into my account. And I wrote back and I said, this seems like a scam to me. I said, I'm not having trouble with my Xbox account, I'm having trouble with my Surface account. And the person wrote back, oh, no, we represent the Surface side also. This is a Microsoft account escalation, blah, 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 blah. And I kind of thought it was a phishing scam. So I just said, you know what, I'm just not going to respond to this guy's email. This doesn't seem legit. Then I got a phone call on a number that I don't give out to anybody, and except to Microsoft apparently, and it was from their escalation department. She initially said she was from Xbox Live, but then clarified to say this actually incorporates a bunch of different Microsoft accounts. And what they've done, which is actually a good thing, is they have gone out and identified people who are at risk for being phished. In other words, people that might have a social media presence that might lead somebody to try and call up customer service and extract information from the customer service people. So what happens is those accounts are completely cut off from their offshore tech support people because they don't trust them apparently to do the right stuff to protect people's data maybe, and they don't give out anything because the account is just inaccessible to them. And I was supposed to be notified when I was placed into this high-risk group, and I wasn't. So that is partly why I was led to this issue. And they certainly were apologetic about the dent and how everything was going on with this thing. And they said, what can we do to make it better? I said, you know what, I just want my money back at this point. I said, I've had this thing since October. It hasn't worked the way an $1,800 computer should work, and I really would just like to get a refund on it. And they agreed to do that. So that is why I am boxing this thing up and sending it back. And again, it pains me to do this because this is really the nicest Windows computer I've ever used, at least from the standpoint of the hardware. But the software integration with it, especially from Microsoft, who actually makes the operating system, just wasn't there for me. And the nice thing is that it's very easy to rebox this, so it's going to go back in very good condition, minus the dent that they somehow got into the thing when it went over there. But it really is something at this point. I can't recommend this generation of the hardware. They have apparently pushed down an update that might address the hot bag issue. I don't know if it's going to address the issue I was having with the tablet mode going on and off, but at this point, I'm so frustrated with this thing. I'm so frustrated with the way the customer support worked on it that I think it's time just to send this back. Now, one of the things that I have sort of near me is a Microsoft store. I didn't try bringing it back to the store there, but I had a feeling I would just be met with a similar reaction because they probably wouldn't be able to get access to my account either at the store. So I really have to deal with the tech support here on a lot of these things. And the store experience, I wasn't able to rate. Maybe if I buy another one of these and have a problem with it, I'll try the store route. But the store is like an hour away, so to drive an hour there, drop the thing off, drive an hour back, and then have to go back and repeat the process. 4 or 5 hours out of my work schedule is not an acceptable solution to me. I just want to send it back and get the issue resolved, and I wasn't getting anywhere there. So thankfully, everything is on the up and up. I will be getting a full refund for the Surface Book, and I don't know if this is how they would treat everybody in a similar situation that I had. So I'm hoping that this is not just because I'm a YouTube person and I have a following. I hope this is how they would treat other customers also. We don't know how they will because obviously I wasn't able to be treated like a normal customer here, but hopefully that's what they'll do to try to make things right for folks, because for $1,800, it doesn't need to be perfect, but it needs to work. And the fact that I really couldn't get the use that I could get out of it without significant annoyance for $1,800 over that span of time made this something that I really can't recommend to anyone. So I was definitely attracted by the shiny object. It definitely legitimately worked great during our review period that I had used it for the purposes of making that initial review video, but my opinion has definitely soured on it. However, I am not soured on Microsoft, so I'm probably going to look at the next generation of this to see if maybe they improve some things on that next iteration, because it is really nice hardware, and it kind of pains me to have to give this back, but it's just not working for me. This is Lon.TV, and thanks for watching. This channel is brought to you by my Patreon supporters, including gold level supporter Shabib. If you want to help the channel, you can by contributing as little as $1 a month. Head over to Lon.TV/Patreon to learn more. And don't forget to subscribe. Visit Lon.TV/S.